game is played by Sidney Poitier.
Great.
Let me get to her name. I remember
Scott
Portia.
Pruitt is free.
Oh man, did you read his letter to Trump?
No, I heard about it, but I didn't read it.
Oh my! I only read an excerpt on Reddit, but it is the worst ass-kissing, horrible badness I've ever seen. I don't know if the inside scoop. I know he's caught a lot of flack. He can't go out in public without people really harassing him. I wonder if that's what's happening, or if he just accomplished his goals and he's getting out before the indictments.
There were dozens of scandals that he got caught up in.
Yeah,
dozens.
I mean, he built a bulletproof zone in his office, and he was just horrible.
Yeah.
Ben Carson's had some of that too. Ben Carson, I think, had the another one that was getting like extravagant, very, very expensive furniture put in on the government dime, and I can't think of a cabinet member that's actually not a huge. I don't have a disappointment. A fraudulent crook is probably better. I'm not really disappointed. Yeah, I never had an expectation of Betsy DeVos to be anything other than what she is, but yeah, I saw that today. Surprise.
She's probably my favorite.
I just think that the damage that they're doing within their agencies before they leave. Another one was Tillerson, just completely dismantled the State Department's ability to function. And then he got out, and people were acting like he was being a grown-up for not sticking by Trump. Like, no, he fucking destroyed the State Department on his way out. It's not. He doesn't get credit. Yeah,
that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing that Trump's cronies were going to do, was tear things down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, geez.
I think the technical term is that they're a bunch of buttholes. Well, I don't know if that violates the terms and conditions of YouTube, but
they're getting rid of the swamp, and it's going to get a little bit dirty before it gets better, right?
They're replacing the swamp with a deeper, dirtier swamp.
I was thinking it's like they're trying to drain the swamp by just having the fat kids do belly flops until the water splashes out. God damn it. Quit doing it.
I'm covered in swamp water at the moment from all of their shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. Shit. So last time my computer completely shit out of me. I think I figured out what it is. I have had to get new internet service out here, which has helped in a lot of ways. But my router has gone from being right next to my computer, where I would hook it through a cable, to a wireless device. I bought a little USB thing that plugs into the back, and my computer it wasn't a blue screen of death, but it was basically the same thing. My computer just shit out on me. Had to reboot. Couldn't connect to the internet. I think it was Friday or Saturday. I finally dicked around with it, and I had to pull the device out and do a hard restart. So I think I know how to fix it if it happens again. But I think that's all it was my wireless connector just threw some sort of fault for the computer. So if it happens again, I should be able to recover it within a few minutes. That's what's going on.
All right.
But we were kind of in the middle of a scene where you both had arrived with Gus Levin, who is Gus Broken, who's the owner and proprietor and operator of the Broken Inn. You had left town, were able to actually get rest as soon as you crossed the county line. Gus was out immediately. The both of you also got kind of hit with tiredness and slept. About 10 hours later, it's well into the evening now. You rolled back into town. Things were again abandoned. Gus led you straight to the sheriff's office, which is just off town square. The sheriff's SUV is parked outside, and she greeted you. As you walked up, she came out the door with a shotgun. I think we can kind of hand wave past the tension of that initial introduction. We cut to the interior now. It's some minutes later. She's brewing coffee, and I think the camera picks up whether the both of you do or not. She's got like an old, a basket full of old grounds that she's kind of rebrewing. The coffee's coming out just a sickly brown instead of a deep, dark brew. And she's dragging ass. She's trying to look alert and tough and in charge. But there's a moment where she's kind of over the coffee pot. And she just kind of blinks real slow, shakes herself, slaps. And she turns over her shoulder. She goes, do y'all take cream, sugar? How do you want your coffee?
None for me, just a cup of water, I guess.
No, I've got everything I need. I'll have some coffee, but I don't need any cream or sugar.
I think I just figured out what you've got that you need. Okay. Yeah, she comes over with some oversized styrofoam cups, like probably 24-ounce cups. Sets one in front of you. I think she. Do you want hot water, or are you gonna make tea or something?
No, just regular water's fine.
She goes back and pulls up a bottle of single-use bottle of water for you.
Okay. Can I ask a context question real quick?
Absolutely.
So are people trying to, like, is she brewing coffee and other people trying to stay awake and alert, or are they not able to sleep?
Okay, good. You noticed in the inn, Gus was keeping himself distracted on a task and seemed to be less affected by like little demons, whereas some people like Pete were kind of just overtaken. They were like delirious on their feet.
Got it.
She is kind of doing the same thing where she's just trying to keep herself busy. She's not sleeping, but she's trying to like keep active and at it. From the brief discussions you had with Gus, or from the discussions that you had with Gus as you woke up and on the way in town, things, he's not really aware of what he's doing. Like he kind of stumbled onto a strategy that was working for the time being,
right?
And just immediate impression until you dig deeper into the sheriff. She's not like actively resisting the little imps. She's just like, this is kind of her training kicking in and trying to stay busy. She's the cop. She wants to be.
The routine of it is keeping her grounded.
Yeah, very much. And so, you imagine that kind of throughout the town, there might be some people at various stages of delirium to routine, kind of almost like a stupefied routine. And it's been long enough that some people might have just died from exhaustion at this point, or otherwise, be in worse shape.
Got it.
So, and interrupt with any questions you have that can help with either.
I call those people weak.
She sets the coffee down and she looks to Gus for just a moment, and her eyes kind of go to Atticus, to Sam. So what are we dealing with here? What's got my people? Is it the water? Is it in the air? It's got to be like a nerve agent. It's some sort of stimulant. She looks at her coffee. Whatever. Takes a drink.
You want to take a stab at this one? Or I can. I mean,
because you guys are also like, you've done the whole Men in Black thing with Ranger Jensen. You did the undercover or the underground magazine writers for up in Oregon. Her desk is also scattered with like a pile of open notebooks and newspapers and things, maps. She's got like 4 or 5 conspiracies. She's got like scratches through a bunch of shit. Like her mind is kind of open to possibilities, whether it be weird or mundane. She's trying to figure this out, and she's trying to put a rational context on it. So that she's seeking answers. And actually, Josh, you get that sense from the brief interactions you've had thus far, kind of off camera. Atticus is sure that like if you can give her a plausible way to attack the thing, to fix the problem, to save the people, off your grifter, like that's what she needs to help you. Like you convince her that she's going to save the day, or that she'll be part of the effort, not even that she's going to be a hero. But she really just wants to protect people. So who wants to answer questions?
So, Do you remember Freddy Krueger?
She looked at you like, yeah. I got some phone calls about that early on. People saying it was
Nightmare on Elm
in our
Street.
dreams.
Yeah.
Thing is, I can't even sleep. Everybody I talk, there is no sleep. So Freddy Krueger's starving if he's trying to eat our dreams.
Did he eat them? That's probably not an important question for now, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But so what about Freddy Krueger? And that was her shutting you down. That's not me as a GM shutting you down. Like she kind of bites on that and she'll listen to you.
Right. So it's kind of like Freddy. I guess the best way to describe it is kind of like Freddy Krueger. There's these monsters in the world. Most people can't see them. Some of them have some people have special powers, like myself. And honestly, your town's riddled with black little monsters that are terrorizing everybody. I don't know exactly why, but I know that when you leave your city, everyone's safe.
So Sam can see things going on around that others can't. What does Sam see going on like in the police station right now? There's a demon that's plaguing our little shadow creature that's specifically plaguing the sheriff right now. What is it doing? She's unaware of it, but it's
I imagine it's probably on her desk, and it's been like reshuffling and reshuffling and reshuffling her papers. Like she might actually have something close to what she needs to look for, but the monsters have been reshuffling it so that all she sees is like the same paperwork over and over and over again. She's not getting closer to solving the problem.
Nice, yeah. I almost picture like maybe they manifest like a gust of breeze comes to the office and kind of blows the page away from her right as her eyes are about to land on it. Yeah. So she looks at you and says, "Yeah, we've had cryptozoologists come through here before looking for swamp things and will-o-wisps. It's always just been swamp gas when they found anything of interest." There was an inbred family on the X-Files once. I remember thinking people could have been them. And she's just kind of drained, and she talks on for a few moments. Like she hears you, and then she just trails off in thought. And she says, "So special powers. You guys are superheroes. You've come in to save the day. We could use it."
Don't let the physique fool you. No, superheroes, those don't exist. Do I get a sense of if she's buying this at all, or is she just pretty much very suggestible?
She's pretty suggestible because of her tiredness. She's not really biting into it. You think when she mentions like dealing with cryptozoologists and stuff like that, yeah, she's not convinced that that's the answer. Maybe just because she wants to be around people who aren't also insane. Like she's like not even shooing you out. She can get back to work. She starts to look off and she's, you know what? It started with dog attacks, and this is what Gus had told you as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I remember the girl, the farm. Hey Gus, who's the family that lives out? And she rattles off a road, and he said, "That's the Levins farm. That's the little girl out there. Yeah, she got mauled pretty bad, didn't she?" And they start kind of talking a little bit, and what they discuss is this farm off, out toward the county line, where a few years back, a little girl got mauled by some stray dogs that had wandered off, or were in the area, probably around the campgrounds. And he says, it's kind of started out around that area, and we started just getting these calls of dog attacks, and a few people had been attacked. A lot of people just been chased indoors. Never actually saw the dogs, just heard them growling and threatening. She again trails off a little bit. Then Gus is put it together and says, I remember that pretty clearly. I remember the family was actually in town about the time this started. The little girl was in a bit of a panic, and her older brother was trying to calm her down.
Are they still here?
They probably would have gone back home. They live just as we go back toward the town line where you took me, where we just came back in through just half an hour ago. They're off the road, kind of across from where the circus is set up. Little Angie Levin, yeah, that's her name. And he's kind of she was crying, she was throwing a big fuss. I think they'd come through the circus. Yeah, she'd come through the circus and she was freaking out. I guess the party clowns had terrorized her, I think. Goes off trying to put it together.
So this happened when the circus was here years ago?
I don't remember the circus having been around at the time. Little girl the dog attack had been years ago. But just 5 days ago, about the time all this panic started, the girl started freaking out. The family had pulled over because she was in a full-on panic attack. The clowns were going to get her. God, I'm sorry. I can't be more helpful. I wonder.
Do you think might be sort of your patient zero, if that is a thing?
As you say that, Gus, it seems kind of beyond him, but the sheriff is watching Gus and looks to you and says, that might be if there's some sort of a neurological or epidemiological basis here. It could be something out on the farm. Could be the little girl. Could be some sort of psychoactive in the air around that area.
Well, I mean, any of those are possible. All of the options are open.
I should run out there.
Well, I mean, we've got a way out there too. I mean, we can head out there with you if you want.
You know what? How much ammo do you still have in this place?
I'm fully stocked. I haven't been shooting civilians. She looks like, yeah, we're fairly well armed for a rural town here. I don't know if I can issue handguns to civilians.
Oh.
Is that what you're looking for, Jessica? Because, I mean, she might be susceptible to it. But remember, you have moves like manipulate someone, things like that. Between the two of you, you can try and get her to give you guns, but her initial reaction is to say no.
Yeah.
But she's, we've got a complement of rifles and shotguns, and probably have a couple of service revolvers locked in the safe back there.
Well, is there any reason that you've stuck around here by the precinct, I guess?
I've been making rounds. Same I've been hearing people say, you hear a pack of wild dogs, chase it down, it turns into nothing. And I just keep pinning them back here. There's only so much I can do burning gas for no purpose. Been kind of sitting by the phones, but it hasn't rung for probably 2 days now.
That's
I
kind
was
of
getting
disturbing in itself.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. I was getting some panicked phone calls. Clowns was another thing that seemed to be a thing that caught on quite a bit. People complained about clowns.
Well, the circus has been on our radar anyways, and so if the Levens place is out that way, we can hit two birds with one stone.
Our RV is pretty safe. It's the safest place you could be in this city, honestly. I figured that the best bet for us would be is just pack it up with some guns in case we need to take care of some issues out there and head out to the farm.
Are there people behind this? Have you seen?
We've seen people behind it, and Gus has too. Here's the thing. This, as far as we know, didn't start a week ago or didn't start a month ago. This has been going on for a long time, and people have been infiltrating your town for a long time and kind of just setting up for just this event. And so I think as we do this, you're going to find people that you think that you've known for years and years and years who are not safe and who don't have your best interest or this town's best interest at heart. So you won't know who your friends are, who your enemies are. When you say that's right, Gus?
Gus is kind of stuck in a recollection of watching you argue with some guy that he grew up with and went to high school with, and then the guy grew claws and pulled a dagger out and then turned into a little girl, and then he shot like he had this kind of nightmare. He's barely coming. Hasn't come to terms yet. So he just kind of looks to you and he's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. All I know is I've seen them. I've seen some weird shit, Sheriff. It's scary. And as he's kind of corroborating, reluctant, he's not challenging what you're saying. He's half kind of corroborating it. I think your eyes kind of see also. She's got a bookshelf full of like pulp Red Scare novels. Like you're kind of building into the whole idea of a cell penetrating the town slowly and taking over.
That's sort of where I was going with it, is that it's the Russians.
And I'm thinking like the TV show The Americans. She probably has like the box set of all seasons of The Americans on her shelf, and so she's kind of digging into it. Go ahead and roll manipulate someone if you'd like, using charm. You have the leverage that you need, being that you've given her a plausible thing to buy into.
What I get?
So with an 8, on a 7-9, they'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show you mean it. If you ask too much, they'll tell you what, if anything, it would take for them to do it. So what you want her to do is to come with you in the RV out to check out the farm and or the circus.
Mm-hmm.
She says she's looking at you, kind of, you see the wheels turning in her very slow, sleep-addled brain. And she says, I've got a feeling you're right. No, I won't like where this is going, but we're not gonna go out there and just hurt people. We're gonna save everybody we can. I need your promise right now that we're out there to help the people of Juniper Springs.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we just saved Gus from his nightmare diner and got him a good night's sleep. We're not here to hurt anybody.
And
Sheriff, isn't that something that you'd like to get out of this at the end of the day, is a good night's sleep?
Absolutely, for everybody. Everybody's cleared out of the diner?
We couldn't get everybody.
Let's go back and get them. Let's clear. Let's save somebody. Let's get them out. We'll bring them back, lock them up in the cells, and then we'll go out to the farm.
You want to do that before we go to the 11s?
Honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, we're just wasting time. The faster we resolve this issue, the quicker we can save the entire town. I understand that you want to save the people in the cafe, but we're just burning daylight.
Let's see. She kind of laid out the requirement to Josh that you have to be on the route to help people. That kind of satisfied your manipulate someone with the 8, and you agreed to it. So she's generally okay. She was throwing out a little bit of a test there, and I think Jessica Samantha can pick this up with your telepathy as you kind of are talking to her. You feel her projecting like desperately. She's looking for some sort of evidence that you guys are the good guys. And I think she's even picturing like any number of movies in the 80s and 90s where like the government just firebombs the town, like kills all the innocents to cover up a problem. Like she wants some demonstration that you're really the good guys. So and Sam, I think we'd even just let you do this telepathically, or if you have something else in mind, like how do you just kind of soothe her conscience that you guys are, that Atticus and Sam are on the right side?
Does she have any jewelry on her? Like, does she have a wedding ring, or is there maybe some frame of pictures of kids on her desk?
Yeah, I like where you're going with that. It could be either. What's more interesting, a ring or pictures or both?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, she's wearing a ring and she has pictures of herself with a number of kids. You can't tell offhand if they're hers or if they're like nieces and nephews or just town kids.
You know, the sooner. I imagine you have a happy family, kids, loving, doting husband. I imagine you want to finish up the job here so you can get back to them, make sure that they're safe and sound. And I mean, we're trying to give you that. We want to try to give you that peace of mind, but if we keep saving everybody else and not finish the job at hand, it might be too late for them.
Nice. Yeah, I think that does it. It also prompts the really weird questions of if her husband and children are here in town, what has she been doing for 5 days here and not around them? There might be a really dark story behind it, or she gets quiet and maybe a little bit of grief crosses her face, and she agrees. Okay, let's go save the town. What else do you try and do? She just kind of throws her keys up on the table. She stands up and checks that her gun's still on her hip. She opens her desk drawer. She pulls out like 4 spare magazines for the pistol. And she says, I've got my rifle, my shotgun out in the truck. Locker's back here.
Do we want to make sure that Gus is armed? And if there's a way for me to get, and my partner here to get a vest, that would be awesome.
No, nice. Yeah. She stops and, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being a bad host. She gets the keys and she goes back there and she opens. And she hands out, I think she gives all 3 of you vests, flashlights, radios, and then she's got options would include hunting rifles, assault rifles, shotguns, pistols, tasers. You have a lot of that yourself already, but
yeah, I don't have a shotgun, but I don't need a shotgun. No, I'm good with just a vest. I'm probably more comfortable with my own weapons.
Let me double check. I think a vest might be about 2 armor, but let me just double check if that would tend to be 1 or 2.
And then if Gus could get something like some sort of gun, that would make me mostly happy.
Gus, now you've shot a gun before, right?
He looks at you and says, I grew up in the Florida swamps. I've shot lots of guns. And
all right.
He starts flipping through and pulls out a rifle and a pistol.
My kind of guy.
Then he puts on a vest. Let's see, armor. 2 armor includes military body armor, Oh, bulletproof, shed-proof vests. Other light was so 1 armor.
Right.
Yeah, you guys get 1 armor each if you put on a vest. And the armor, like if you get specifically like attacked in the head, that wouldn't work. Or if it's like magical or flame or acid or something that would just get around the vest, it wouldn't work. But for any sort of blunt trauma, I think they're probably some sort of Teflon with a little like lightweight lattice on them that makes them also resistant to stabbing and things. They're good high quality armor. Rural towns are flooded with military surplus gear these days. So she's
G.I.
also got.
Joes.
Yeah.
Sam, it's been a
Jessica,
long
is
time
Sam?
since I've driven a cop car. I'm really tempted.
Is Sam gearing up with weapons and body armor?
Yeah, I'll wear a vest and maybe take a couple of pistols.
Okay. So you have a 38 revolver. You would also add a a 9mm, and you can get a couple of them. And you have a checkbox on your sheet already for a 9mm. The big thing on the 9 is it doesn't have reload the way the 38 does. It just has more round capacity.
Let me look at something real fast.
Sure.
You know what? I would take a shotgun if there is one.
Absolutely. And while you guys are in there chatting away and kind of going through the armor, shopping,
Taking our time.
Price check. I'm gonna nudge Atticus and I'm gonna be like, "There's a bazooka over there."
the lights flicker out for just a moment while you're going through all the gear. You've got your vests on, you've got the guns and things that you wanted to pick up in hand. But I think, Atticus, you're just kind of checking out the shotgun. You're the last one to pull open. Pushing out, the lights flicker. And when they come back on, the light has a different quality. It's a dancing flame. Instead of being like overhead fluorescence, there are now wall sconces fueled by natural gas flickering. Like the lighting inside the building has been replaced. And you're standing in front of this closet full of police gear. You're holding the shotgun, and it is the shotgun. But as you kind of look up again, you see a couple of like muzzle loaders, like weapons that were not there before. You see a couple of big kind of
crossbows.
But you basically see like what would have been like when Andrew Jackson was down here fighting the Mexican-American War. Some of the weaponry that would have been used then. Everything, the smells in here, you smell like leather and wood oils that you weren't smelling like before. It's probably just a very sterile. She probably was actually mopping and stuff in here regularly. Actually, everything around you has just taken on a very antiquated kind of timbre to it. Gus looks freaked out, and the sheriff draws her weapon and kind of sticks her hand out. She's not pointing the weapon at any of you, but she's looking, what the hell's going on here? And she reaches up and clicks on her radio, and it doesn't give off any, even no indication that it's working.
Well, that's a bummer.
What's a bummer?
We're in a Ren fair now. And it seems like our radios aren't going to work. That means that the fucking car might not work.
No. Oh, that car. Yeah, that car won't work, but our RV should be safe.
We should go check it out, and we should get out of here. We should get to the farm.
Yeah, let's get going.
Josh, you are the driver. Atticus is the driver. I don't think I'm going to take the RV away from you. Are you in the RV or the Firebird right now? You're the RV.
RV.
I'm not going to take the RV from you, but I want to know how it is that the RV is still there. I think her SUV is now a a horse carriage, and there's a couple of horses like nickering, like tied to a post, and like you see like the sheriff's department emblems, the county name and everything emblazoned on the carriage. Your RV is out there.
Well, Sam had put wards on it. I know that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's a good explanation. I want there to be something innately, because we talked early on when you curve that bullet away from hitting the little girl, that Atticus doesn't actually intentionally exercise magic, but sometimes his will just manifests, and especially related to his cars. I think that's why the Firebird keeps coming back, is it somehow... I'm wondering what manifestation of Atticus's will.
With the RV?
Yeah. Against like whatever the overwhelming magic in the area is.
Oh man. I don't know what that would be.
Let's kind of think on that. Maybe as you're driving it or something will occur to you.
You know what could be kind of funny and thematic is if we walk out and we see the sheriff's horse carriage, like car has turned into a horse carriage and there's horses lashed to the front of it, and then we turn and look at the RV and the RV is there, but there's horses like tied to the front of it, like it had tried to change.
Nice.
But it wouldn't. So there's like...
So it's still a fully functioning, drivable RV, but there's like these horses that are
like reined up to it.
Very good.
I kind of imagine that we're running out the front door, and Atticus is just yelling, "Not my RV! Not my RV! Not my RV!"
Very good. And I think Atticus is the first one to cross outside. And as you go out, roll me a D10, Atticus. So /R 1D10.
Okay. Means we have 7 horses attached to the RV. Okay, Wonder Woman is here to help us.
Who's Wonder Woman? Or was it the D10? Oh.
Wonder Woman is here to help us.
So as you come out, for just a moment, you're relieved to see the RV at twice its normal size. And then kind of unfolding itself, standing from behind the RV, you see this like head and shoulders rise above the top of the RV. This giant stands up. You recognize Pete from inside the Broken Inn, the guy that was kind of dazed and delusional. He rises up from behind the RV, and he kind of puts one hand down the RV and rests his weight. And you hear like the shocks kind of squeal in protest as his weight settles on it. And he looks down at it with like a look of consternation. And he starts to try and pick it up. His hand actually doesn't quite spread across the top of it, but he kind of starts shaking it with a little consternation. You can tell he's kind of expecting it to change, and it's not changing. And he's giving it a wiggle. Looks frustrated, and then he looks up and his eyes lock on you, Atticus, and he just kind of abandons it, and he just gets this malevolent look on his face. What do you do?
You son of a bitch. Would I have... I don't know if... Did we say whether we took all of our weapons with us into the sheriff's office?
I think you were loaded for bear, yeah. I think you actually did say that as you got out. Now, remember, you have some things like mystery, read a bad situation. You've got some things you can do to kind of try and get on firm ground.
Did you say that the RV was twice its normal size?
No, the RV is not. The RV is kind of safe. Okay. This appears to be like a giant version of Pete. Rising up behind the RV.
I'm gonna.
So before you take what I say as literal truth, I'd recommend poking at it.
Right. I'm gonna circle around behind the horse carriage, the sheriff's horse carriage, just to get cover, and look around the side and just look at this giant Pete and the best I can remember what he looked like, see if there's any differences. If this is actually him, does the expression look different? Did the features look different at all? Is this like an exaggerated version of him?
Yeah. So you didn't really spend a lot of time interacting with Pete. So as you're looking at him, go ahead and roll plus sharp for read a bad situation. Nice, 11. So you're going to get 3 questions. And if you act on the answers, you're going to get +1 ongoing while the information is relevant. So do you have the list of questions? Do you want me to pop them into the chat there?
No, I got it. Seems like a silly question. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
So you're really focused on this giant Pete there. And I think maybe so I'm giving Josh the answer, not necessarily Atticus, right? Atticus is focused on this giant Pete. You've kind of got cover from him. And there's a quick flashback where the mime clearly thought he was fighting against like a box or an invisible wall. And it turned out it was a little demon thing pushing against him. And then later he was fighting to walk against the wind. It was a demon like blowing against him. I think for just a moment, the audience like gets a glimpse of you squaring off against this big Pete, being really like kind of distracted by it. There are 2 or 3 demons that are kind of rocking. They're jumping on top of the RV, and it's kind of springing up and down to their weight as the giant like picks itself up. And it flashes back to Atticus, who's you're fixated on Pete, but the audience sees it's really just a couple of demons kind of projecting this illusory idea of Pete. And we cut back to Atticus, and your eyes are just starting to glaze over a little bit as you're kind of enthralled with this thing in front of you. So Josh knows that Atticus is kind of misperceiving what's in front of him, what the real threat is.
Got it.
And you can hold those answers, the questions, or you can spin them all now.
But I can really just hold them in this scene, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's the best way out?
You know that when Sam, or Josh knows that when Sam attacked the demon directly, she actually like destroyed it with that club, the bat, that ripped it to shreds. Like if you can take care of the demon, the threat will disappear. The illusory threat.
Okay. What's the best way to protect the victims? Maybe sort of the same question.
I think probably to get some clarity. Maybe picturing Atticus as the victim here, because you're starting to kind of like fixate on the threat, on the illusion. If you were to get if Atticus could get some clarity, and it might be within his wheelhouse, like exert his will through like a use magic to try and see what's really there. Or it might be to call on Sam to help him. You know, we've seen at least once that she could give him some taste of like what she sees.
Yeah. But he doesn't know any of these things.
You do as the player, and in Monster of the Week and Empowered by the Apocalypse in general, like we get to play back and forth with that kind of meta knowledge quite a bit.
Got it.
Like does maybe he have some intuition or some memory of that scene back in the Broken Inn where she fed you the.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you how much of what I've told you kind of bleeds through to him.
Right.
Metagaming is totally cool in Empowered by the Apocalypse.
Well, so he's ducked behind the cart at the moment. He takes a big swig off of his flask that he's got on him, and swats one of the horses on the ass and shoots up to try and spook them to get them to run. to try and distract the giant that's on the. To try and get this giant to chase those things away.
Nice.
And get off of his RV.
Give me an act under pressure, which is roll plus cool. And you're going to take 1 forward from the read a bad situation.
So cool, and I do 1 forward.
So we'll just add 1 to the roll, or 1 ongoing. It doesn't get burned up by this. So you're at a 9 as you get this.
Then the 8 includes the +1.
Oh, okay, you checked the box on that. Okay, so you're an 8. So there's nothing much for Jessica to be able to jump in and like help, or for Sam to be able to help. So you're on a 7 to 8. The keeper is going to give you a worse outcome, hard choice, or price to pay. So the horses here are going to shy away. They're going to run, right, to try and distract the giant. The horses hitched to your RV are also going to start running, and as they start pulling, you hear the parking brake pop on the RV, and they actually start it moving. So like while the carriage is going to your left, the horses are slowly. I mean, it's a big ass heavy RV. A couple of horses aren't going to easily pull it, but they actually kind of get it to start moving to your right. You think that pretty quickly, if it builds any momentum of its own, like it'll just yank them after it pretty soon and just roll off into the swamp or whatever is going to stop it. But yeah, that like as you do that, carriage is this way, the RV that way, and the giant is kind of like looking between the horses and now the RV, like it wants to smash something. Sam, you hear the gunfire as Atticus kind of bursts through the door and almost immediately like jump to the left. You hear some gunfire go off. You run out. You can see the giant, but you also see like the little shadow demons that are now kind of scurrying to the back of the RV, and they're kind of hopping around with glee. They just like that there's chaos going on, apparently. Some of them are chittering at the fleeing cop carriage, and one of them is just jumping up and down on the RV. What does Sam do?
So as I'm running out and hear the gunfire, my initial reaction is to grab a gun and lift it up in the direction of I guess where I hear Atticus shooting, and that's when I walk out and I see the monsters, the little demons on top of the RV, and I'm just like, motherfuckers. And so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just try to shoot at them with the gun.
So what kind of gun are you using? A pistol? One of the 9s?
The 9s.
Okay. So it's going to be a kick some ass roll. Kick some ass. Kick it.
Trying. And that's tough.
Tough, yeah. Unless you've got a couple substitutions, but I don't think you have one for kick some ass. No, you don't. 9. So if you could get a +1, if there's anything that Atticus would be doing to help, you could push for a +1 to get up to a 10+. Otherwise, you're trading harm with the bad guys. Are there any thoughts on how you'd coordinate on this?
I mean, I could see Atticus like taking a shot at the giant and running, like starting to run at the RV. Maybe that would distract them somehow.
Okay. Or maybe even you notice that she's not shooting directly at the giant, but kind of off to the back of the RV.
Mm-hmm.
But so you're going to kind of lay down a little cover fire and provide distraction. Roll plus cool. See if you can give Sam a +1. Okay, so you give her +1, but you put yourself in danger or trouble. So Sam, let's resolve your kick some ass first. On 10 hits, you choose 1 extra effect. So you're going to trade damage with them, right? And with your pistol, you're going to do 2 damage. You can gain advantage, take +1 forward, or give +1 fortune to the top hunter. Or you can inflict terrible harm, which will be +1 harm. Or you can suffer less harm yourself, which will be -1 incoming harm. Or you can force them where you want them. You're going to use your shots to kind of corral them, to hurt them worse. You take less harm from them.
Maybe force them where I want them.
And where do you want them? And it could have an effect on the giant as well, right? Because they're kind of projecting psychically this giant. So, like, and with your harm that you're going to do now, you're going to inflict 2 harm against the 3 of them. You're going to kill 2 of them, and only 1 will be left. So maybe like the giant just kind of cowers in the middle of the road instead of being aggressive.
I think instead of it being on top of the RV, I think I want them to jump off of the RV and I guess basically like in the middle of the street where we can see them. So it's like an easier shot.
Okay. See, I think they like one of them kind of launches off the RV at you as you start shooting. You fire a little barrage of bullets, probably half a magazine toward them. The one flying at you takes several bullets, and it lands on you, crawling kind of feebly at the body armor that you're wearing, kind of helplessly. It's just dying as it kind of falls down your side, and you keep shooting. Another one gets blasted off the back of the caravan and turns into like just a black smoky dust. And the last one ends up in the middle of the road, kind of in a pool of like the natural gas lanterns that line the streets now. This is a pool of light in the middle of the road, and it's kind of down there and like whimpering, looking for somewhere to run to. And for the moment, it's kind of pinned down there. As you stop firing and check the scene, the one at your feet bites into your ankle and just, oh, no, you have 1 armor from your vest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just has like scrabbled in your armor, protected you. That's right. It dies at your feet. So you guys have one of these little creatures pinned down. I think to Josh, the giant, like I said, is kind of cowering now in the middle of the road under the light. The horse-drawn RV is still kind of being pulled off to the side. And the sheriff and Gus come pouring out, and they're preparing to just fire on the giant. Sam, what do you do as they come pouring out behind you?
I'm going to tell them to stand down, that we have it. And I'm going to walk up to the last demon. And I guess I want to try to get some answers from him.
Okay, so you're going to like, try and like capture him in some way?
Yeah.
So you've got him pinned down. You forced him where you want them. So I think he's susceptible. How do you capture a demon? Like, what do you do to constrain them? I think the road is not like a packed earth road instead of being pavement because it's 19th century. Like inscribe a pentagram around him or something, or how do you?
Yeah.
Josh, your RV is being pulled by frantic horses.
Was there anything to resolve with my 7?
Oh yeah. Let's see. So as she's doing that, you expose yourself to trouble or danger. Let me look at this real quick. Roll me a d12. Okay, roll me a d10. And just so you know what I'm doing, d12 is one of the basic keeper moves. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Let's see.
Do you want to roll again?
I'd like to be able to pull this off. I'm just not sure. No, okay, I've got it. You go kind of running up, shooting at the giant, and the demons come tumbling off, and like I said, one throws itself at Sam and dies at her feet. One gets just powdered off the back of the RV. And the other is cowering now. The giant's carrying in the middle of the road. And you gave it a little bit of a wide berth. And as you're going around behind it, you've turned your back to the RV. It's now pulling away from you. The back of the RV pops off, and this kind of giant muscle-bound redhead, the audience can clearly see it's a parody of Carrot Top, comes out with a big box full of goofy props, and pulls out a big kind of probably a rubber, as he swings it, it's clearly like a rubber hatchet, but as it kind of swings in the light, the light glints off the blade cartoonishly, and he hurls the hatchet, and it goes flying just past you and embeds itself in a cast iron lamppost, and actually wedges into the metal and is springing back and forth as the rubber. They're clearly going to be lethal if they hit you. But he reaches in and he pulls out what's the next prop that Carrot Top pulls out of his prop bucket?
A flaming bowling pin.
Yeah, he pulls out the bowling pin and the comically big lighter, and starts and gets the bowling pin, and he starts waving it back and forth, and he's coming at you.
And he's between me and the RV.
The RV is pulling away from you, and so he steps out of it, and it's now 10 feet past you, and he's 5 feet away and starts moving toward you.
But he's in between me and the RV.
Yes. Yep.
So he's 5 feet away from me. I think that's shotgun territory.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna fire at him with the shotgun, even though I'm not sure if he's really a thing. But
so even though you're ranged, you're clearly going to hit him, he could also hurt you. So it is going to be a kick some ass. You're going to trade harm here. Nice. And so you get to choose gain advantage, inflict terrible harm, suffer less harm, or force them where you want them. You haven't advanced any moves, right? You didn't advance kick some ass. Okay.
I'm going to inflict terrible harm.
You're just so you know, your shotgun's going to be enough to kill him without doing terrible harm. If you suffer less harm, it doesn't matter. You have 1 armor. He's going to do 1 harm to you, so it's going to zero out. So go for inflict terrible harm. And what kind of messy damage does your shotgun do to Carrot Top? And his props. Fuck his props up in some dramatic way.
If he's got this box of props in front of him, I probably just fire directly into it. And so whatever nasty bits are in there are just shrapnel that just cover him.
Nice. I think there's a jack in the box under tension, and as you fire, the lid blows off of it, and the jack in the box comes up spears through his chest in a reverse of the alien chest burster, and he drops to his knees, hits you once across the kind of into the ribs with the bowling pin, and your body armor absorbs the blow. Your shirt's on fire a little bit, but you can pat it out as he crumples your feet, looking shocked. Just so you know, on your illusionary encounters, you rolled a comedian with terrible, terrible jokes. I was trying to figure out how to make that play. So yeah, he dies at your feet. Your truck is pulling away. The back door is flailing open where he jumped out. Looks like it's clear on there now.
So I don't know if he was real or not.
He was real enough to be lethal. I think Sam would have, if she looked over for just a moment, she would have seen you ended up blasting a shadow demon thing with a shotgun, and that's what killed him. But the illusion of it manifested as you blew open the jack in the box.
Got it. But was the guy a guy, or was the guy
So these little demons are kind of projecting these psychic manifestations. There's
Okay.
no, it was not a human. It was not like one of the doppelgangers.
Okay, got it. I'm running to the RV as fast as I can.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can get in there. There's no more obstacles between you and there. Are you gonna just go up to the driver's seat and like hit the brakes, or?
Yeah, well, yeah, slowly hit the brakes. I don't want to like throttle the horses.
Okay. Yeah, you actually protect the horses. Very, very good of you. Yeah, you're able to get the RV under control. Do you unhitch the horses, or what do you do with them?
If I can get the RV just stopped for now, I'm gonna go back to tend to Sam and the others before I worry about unhitching the horses.
Okay. Yeah, you won't make it too far. The horses spooked when you fired your gun. I mean, as a result of your act under pressure. So you get them kind of back under control. Get the parking brake set maybe more firmly. It was just barely engaged before or something. So you've got it all secured now. We cut back to Sam. You've just finished tracing the used magic, tracing the pentagram around the demon. It's cowering, and I think as you do that, it kind of stops cowering. It sniffs around a little bit. It kind of reaches for the edge, and does it spark, or how do we see that it can't leave? Like, what's the audience get that tells it?
It's just like a purple bubble.
Okay.
It traps them.
So as you kind of like finish drawing the pentagram, this purple shield pops up over it, kind of snaps. There's a little bit of an audible like pressure change or something, and it's stuck in there. Okay. So what are you going to do? You can hear it gibbering, and it's a language that you'll understand it when you talk to it. Nobody else can even really perceive it or see the purple, right?
Right.
They just see you drawing a pentagram on the ground and like shouting at it.
All right. Now you know why you're in there, and I need some answers. Who sent you?
Okay. Roll investigate a mystery as you kind of interrogate it.
Sharp.
And do you get to substitute for investigate? You have a move that lets you substitute one of the rolls. That's when you act under pressure. Okay. So roll me a d12, Jessica. And what was your exact question? Why are you here? Is that what it was?
Who sent you?
Who sent you?
Who does number 2 work for?
One moment. You ask who sent you, and it looks up to you, and it's annoyed that it's trapped, but it doesn't seem to really have any fear of you at this point. It looks at you, and it starts kind of mockingly whispering who sent you back at you. As it does, from out across the green space, the central town courtyard or whatever, another not a giant, not a supernaturally large person, but a guy who's probably about 6'5", kind of the strongman competition where it's not people that are like weightlifter, like perfectly sculpted muscles, just huge guys. the actor that plays the Mountain on Game of Thrones type guy, kind of comes wandering out from behind a building. Maybe it's even the Broken Inn. He's wandering out and kind of aimlessly walking along the grass across your field of vision. As he's doing so, what has him? Oh, he's kind of moaning, please, and he's got he's like clutching at his wrist. He's kind of tearing at his wrist, like you just see from the distance he's doing this weird kind of jerky motion in his arms. Then he stops and he turns and he kind of looks your way and he moves this really jerky way and he starts walking to you. And again, now he's reaching up over him. He's trying to grab it. He just seems to be like he's caught in spider webs or something as he's trying to rip and pull at things. And yeah, he's kind of making his way toward you, but he's not really paying attention to you. He's moving straight at you. He's wearing a unitard, kind of brightly colored, probably like a bright red. He's got big waxed mustachios, wearing like shiny boots, and like just takes a moment for you to kind of look at him like, yeah, of course. And I think as Atticus walks on the scene, you recognize him from some of the photos you've seen from when you were looking up the circus to kind of get their history and stuff. It's Hespeba the Huge. He's the circus strongman performer. And yeah, he's kind of walking into the scene now. And what does Sam do? You still got the little demon trapped, but like before you can get any answers from it, this guy's walking right at you. 30, 40 feet away.
I think I'm gonna rotate the little like bubble, almost like if it's a hamster wheel, to kind of like get it dizzy.
Okay.
See if that gets him dizzy and ask him again. I really don't have time to play.
As you do that, you hear these voices whisper in your head. You haven't heard them for a while, since they told you to take the dagger. They whisper, "A foolish child. He's not with them. He's a weak victim in this as well. Just kill him. Be done with it. Put him out of his misery." They're urging you to kill Hespeba the Huge. Take him before she does. Deprive her of her snack.
Who's she?
They go quiet for just a moment, like the surroundings, the noise goes tinny. It goes to that kind of black and white that sometimes we hit when the voices are dialoguing with you. I think they do know. How do you engage them? Like they have dark bargain as one of their things. They say, stab him with that crystal dagger. Say a little prayer for us, and we'll tell you all you need to know.
That's mean.
It is mean.
And if you do it, you're going to mark an experience. If you don't, your powers will be unavailable till the end of the mystery. That doesn't mean your ability to use normal moves, including use magic, but you'll lose the sight. You'll lose hex and telepathy. Oh, wow, you took attune. You can attune your mind to a monster or minion. Oh, you had that option instead of rolling investigate a mystery, you could have rolled tune in. I didn't call for you to do that, and I'm sorry. That's still an option. You can still do that. They have set forth the bargain before you, but you do have a minion stuck at your feet right now. So if you want to do that before you handle the strong man, you're more than able to do that as well. Oh my God! You can just ask where the creature is right now.
Oh yeah, I cannot tell. All right.
Crazy.
All right, let's tune in.
This is fucking sick. Okay. Roll plus weird.
Get it.
12. 10 plus you hold 3. You spend 1 to ask one of the questions. You gain +1 ongoing while acting on the answers.
All right. Where is the creature right now?
The creature is at the circus.
What is it planning to do?
The creature is weakening the town, and it's starting to starting to kill some people. It's basically just trying to cause as much terror as possible before killing everyone in the town.
All right.
Terror, like not necessarily terror, like active terror, like the mind-numbing horror, like basically what you've been seeing.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and stand up with my my 9mm drawn, and then do one last shot through the bubble to destroy that black demon.
Okay, it won't kick some ass. You can just kill it.
Yeah.
And so you do that. You still have 1 question left, but as you kill it, you're going to destroy the tune in, like you'll destroy the monster.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you stand up and you shoot the monster, the little demon. Everybody else just kind of sees you shoot into the middle of that circle at your feet. Atticus, what's your impression of like what she's doing? You know she's a spellcaster. You know she does this weird shit, whether you believe it or not. You just see her kind of fire around into the ground. Is it a warning shot against the strong man? What do you see her doing?
I mean, if I see the pentagram on the ground, I probably know that she's up to some weirdness. I probably wouldn't think it's directed towards the strong man. Yeah, I just assume that she's doing something I don't understand. And I'm kind of leveling my shotgun towards the strong man and letting him approach to kind of just see what's going on.
And so you still have a couple from Read a Bad Situation, I think, right? Or did you ask all the hold? I think you had a couple.
No, I think I asked all 3 of them.
You did? Okay, quick. He doesn't. He's not even looking at Sam. Even when the gunfire goes off, he's kind of dazed. It looks almost like he's being led to you. Maybe even tries to like step another direction. You see him kind of get pulled. Looks like he's struggling with, like I said, being caught in a fishing line. And now you're kind of getting a different picture of he's almost being pulled on like a fishing, or is it spiderweb before? They're kind of getting a sense maybe like being pulled on a fishing line, or even as he's kind of doing this now, you see like he starts swatting here and then his arm gets ripped away. And you get this almost like marionette type of thing.
But he is
tugging at him.
He is walking under his own power, though.
Yes. He just might not have control over where it is he's going. But he's walking.
How close is he to me?
I'd say he's like I said, about 30 foot from Sam, and you're maybe walking back up from parking the RV, so about 50 feet from you.
Oh, so he's on the other side of her. Okay. Well, never mind.
But yeah, I mean, movement, it doesn't really matter. You can get where you need to be.
Well, I mean, I don't know that I would like sprint to him to do this, but if he was on my side of things, I would like walk up to him and just like shotgun butt him in the head to like either knock him out or get him out of his stupor.
Okay. Yeah, so Sam, you pulled your gun out, shot into the ground. I think you kind of see Atticus walking toward him, and you've been told to do something. What is Sam doing?
I'm yelling at the sheriff and Gus to get in the RV, because all I really care about is not so much strongman dude, but we need to get to the circus.
Okay. They take one look at you and the ground and him, and yeah, we need to get out there and take care of the farm and the circus. They pile into the RV. Atticus is walking toward the strong man. You say that you don't need to do anything about him. You guys talk to each other.
I'm just like running and going, Atticus, don't mind him. Start the engine. Start the RV.
Are you running towards the RV or running towards him?
Running towards the RV.
Oh.
And he's not speeding up to pursue or anything.
I just feel bad that he's. I'm not gonna sprint or anything, but I'm just gonna like kind of trot up to him and just try and hit him in the head to snap him out of it, and then turn around and run back to the RV. Like I'm doing him a kindness.
You hit him in the head, and he kind of like stops and shakes himself, and you see him kind of get angry for a second, and then he looks at you, and there's a moment where like almost gratitude. He kind of gives you a nod, and then his eyes snap back up, and he starts struggling with it again. Do you give him a harder knock and like knock him out?
If I can, yeah.
Yeah, he's not fighting you. He kind of takes another good whack. And
I just know if I can actually knock somebody I mean, can we knock people unconscious in this place?
Yeah, I think for now.
Okay.
He's not sleeping. He's not gaining like restfulness.
Right.
But he'll be unconscious. He's sedated or not sedated. He's out.
All right.
Yeah, he's not getting sleep.
Then I trot back to the RV.
Yeah. So you guys pull out. Do we want to make it out to the farm or circus, or do we want to call it here? What do you feel like doing? We could probably wrap this up if we want to try and do it the next half hour or so. But Jessica's looking tired.
I don't care. It's up to Josh.
Why is it up to me?
Because you're driving the RV.
Let's go ahead and wrap this. If we can get through this session here, or through this mystery, we can wrap it up and look at your next levels and things.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys moving out. Jessica, Sam knows that the threat is at the circus, not at the farm. Its intention is to drive everyone mad and then consume them in some way. The sheriff is pretty sure you need to go to the farm to talk to the Levin girl. You also know that an obsession with clowns seemed to kick this all off. And then there were dogs and clowns chasing everybody around. What are you saying, Sam? What are you telling Atticus about where you need to go?
I think he already knows direction more or less to the circus. So I'm just navigating him that way.
Okay.
Right. So we're headed to the circus then? Cool.
Yeah. Don't fall asleep.
Yeah. I don't think that's a problem here. Although that strong guy is asleep, the guy with the cool mustache.
Don't worry, I'll buy you some tickets to the next carnival if that's what you're interested in.
As you pull up to the campgrounds, it's the Juniper Springs camp and play. It's taken over right now by the Circus Adventicus, and there is probably an orange hurricane fence kind of surrounding the perimeter of the circus. It's got a few mobile carny rides. There's a big top tent flapping in the evening breeze. you hear that tinny music kind of going off in the background, kind of on the breeze somewhere. You're not sure where it's coming from. A fixed structure, probably like a couple of double wide trailers parked together. It says maze of mirrors. Off to the side of the big top. Looks like it's one of the main attractions. There's also and this is something I think that Atticus had come across in his research. There's the bestiary, where they have animals that defy the imagination, and a lot of people said, yeah, they're like plucked birds, and a sickly seahorse is being called a mermaid.
Lame.
There's a kind of a freak show, laboratory of mad magicians, and then a black market or a mercado where you can go buy all sorts of like gypsy curses and carny games and things like that. You see a few people or a few shapes flitter as the RV's headlights kind of sweep over and you pull in. You see shapes kind of recede back behind a couple of the buildings off in the distance. I think maybe even one of the tent flaps on the big top flutters open, and you see like a face appear, probably way down to the ground level, and then like slowly fade back into the shadows. Like the hand draws the tent closed, and let's go.
Creepy carnival.
Yep.
Check.
What's your approach? What's your destination? What's your answer to the cop? The sheriff? Why you're not going to the farm?
This is closer.
I hate carnies.
Carnies always are the source of bad things. Do I remember particularly where there was the woman who was sort of the matriarch of the carnival? Was there like a certain area or thing that she was associated with?
You know that she was the owner in the most recent like social media postings that you saw that were from very recent in the current season, touring season. You recall that she had a very stylized photo where she was kind of surrounded by reflections. She was clearly like as you're looking across like the mirror maze, like she clearly was in a room like that. And it's a PR photo, it was intentionally staged. But that's the one that stands out in your mind as you're surveying the scene. Like, yeah, you know that she was in there. And like I said, she was a very strikingly beautiful woman and very put together affectation. Like you think that was a very intentionally staged photo.
Got it. So not necessarily where she would that's not necessarily her home base, just a striking shot for a photo, maybe.
Yeah, and part of an appearance she's trying to project.
Got it.
And it was Miss Bradbury, the owner of the carnival.
Atticus, it's taking every fiber of my body to prevent me from just burning this entire circus down to ash.
I mean, that would be one way to do it too. There might be, if there is such thing as an innocent carny, there might be innocent carnies.
You kind of start thinking that, Atticus. You see the tension kind of broiling. You see her kind of barely checked. Is it rage that you're feeling, Jessica? Like the Dark Powers rage?
Yeah.
You see that kind of boiling over in Samantha. And I think Atticus generally kind of almost sardonically would just kind of, yeah, me too, or brush it off. But you actually start to feel yourself seethe a little bit. And you feel that anger building in a way that I picture Atticus being pretty dispassionate, even when the shit's hitting the fan.
Mm-hmm.
It probably turns into self-loathing sometimes after, questioning, doubt, things like that when you're not around people. But you just maintain that cool facade at all times in front of folks. You feel yourself getting this really atypical anger, and it's it's an external source, and it's real dim. I think because you're in the enchanted RV, you guys are protected right now. So it's largely suppressed. But like you feel like somebody is trying to siphon Sam's anger and like project it onto you. And you shake it off because you're in the RV again. You shake it off right away, but you feel it happen.
Well,
you know it's going to be tricky when you leave the RV because you know that Sam enchanted it, right?
Right. So yeah, I don't like this carnival either. We just got to keep ourselves in check for a bit longer. I have a feeling that the lady in charge of this circus is who we need. And once we take care of her, everything else it'll just be circus games and roller coasters after that. You can win me a sweet teddy bear off of some carny game.
You know they're all rigged, right?
That's why you got to do it.
Now, one thing we haven't done is we haven't pursued the harm that can hurt the monster. You've got the idea that they're doppelgangers, and that the head one was something special, but essentially a doppelganger.
I thought when we fought the one in the diner, we determined that physical damage was their thing and that they were kind of cowardly.
That works on the minions for sure, but not on the big one.
Oh, I see.
I haven't been very clear about that. You guys are in a position where you can still mess it up, but if things don't quite work out the way that you expect, poke at it and you'll figure it out fairly quickly.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Gus, Sheriff, you're gonna hang back. Protect the RV. You guys should be safe here. If shit hits a fan, there is a tank of gas in my room. Just set the entire carnival ablaze.
Wow. Gus is looking like there's people in there. And I think the sheriff is staring at that little opening on the big top where like the little face disappeared. She's like staring at that and she's like a ghost.
What'd you see over there?
She kind of shakes as it. That can't be. Her voice is kind of trembling a little bit. She seems to have more. She's passionate. She seemed almost like fighting against the sleep to like really have this experience. That was my daughter, but she passed 2 years ago. Oh, my girl, my baby's in there. She reaches and she's gonna grab the door and let herself out, like run in.
I'm gonna hold the door shut. She's not in there. Just trust me on this one, and this is probably the one time tonight I'll be honest with you.
One time.
I've lied to you a lot, but trust me.
We've been doing this a long time, and nobody's ever come back.
I think she'll accept it. Yeah, she looks at you and she's just, what the fuck is going on in my town to my people? Then, yeah, she almost a resignation. So what are you guys going to check out? They'll stay in the truck for now.
I'm taking the keys with me.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, I saw, I don't know if the head of the carnival is who or what we're looking for, although that seems like a good bet. I saw online there was a photo of her in the House of Mirrors, which seems like just a difficult enough place for her to be now. So we could go there. We could go to the big top where the head was poking out, see what's going on there.
And you want to reveal a bad situation or read a bad situation also as you're kind of surveying it'll let you ask questions.
Sure.
Sam or I guess either one of you could do it.
I mean, I'm happy to sort of just scan all the different possible spots.
Mm-hmm.
Is it sharp?
Yes. 9. Sam, are you helping?
Yeah.
Roll plus cool. How about? Okay. Yeah, you read a bad situation, Josh. You have a 10 plus. You get 3 hold.
What's my best way in?
You know, there's something hiding in the big top. Something that kind of seemed to be trying to draw the sheriff in there, appearing as her daughter and like trying to lure her in. And you get almost like an angler fish, like it's lying in wait, ready to eat somebody. You just get a hungry appearance from that big top. But you don't think that's the big thing. You scan over a few of the other zones, and your eyes fall on the maze of mirrors again, and you just kind of solidify in your hunch that the big boss is in there. I think you kind of reflect the kind of illusory nature of a lot of these things, the hallucinations, the just fucking with people's perceptions seems to be what this monster is doing in town. Mm-hmm. Sam hasn't really shared what she knows, that this thing is trying to drive people crazy and like consume them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think you just kind of get a sense like, yeah, we need to go break some mirrors or something.
What's most vulnerable to me?
You're not seeing a lot of the illusory things going on out here. You think that pretty much anything out here. Let me see. Give me some context on why you asked that question particularly. Like vulnerable to in what sense? Like, can you shoot it or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the sense that I'm that Atticus is. I mean, maybe I'm looking at what's the biggest threat, but yeah,
I think none of them look like really defended. It looks like all of them are like an ambush waiting to happen.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep. So none of them look fortified.
Okay. And then I guess I'll say, are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Yeah, you just know that there are kind of seething in the shadows. There are some of these things. You expect
some of the doppelgangers.
You reckon that there's at least some of them. You know that back in the Broken Inn, the one referred to himself as one of many. I think there was a sense of almost like a brotherhood or a sorority of the doppelgangers all operating together. And so you expect that there's several of those kind of running around in here. Mm-hmm. You've noticed a few shapes flitting here and there, and you know the sheriff saw her daughter. You expect that wherever you go, there are real threats, okay. Not just the little illusory things.
Okay.
And you get a +1 forward, kind of working off of those things, including approaching the various structures.
Right. I think we need to go to the mirror place. I think we cut the head off of the monster, and well, you know what happens when you cut heads off things.
Well, they're definitely not snakes, so they won't continue to bite. All right, let's go.
I'm trying to think where I just saw that recently, where somebody had cut the head off a rattlesnake, and a few hours later came back to pick it up, and it bit them. It was hours later, but the nervous reactions, like at the bite reflex, still injected.
Oof.
It's crazy. Yeah, so you guys make your way kind of across the yard. Like I said, there are some things in there are some things going on in the big top As you step out of the RV, Josh, you feel that rage hit you again. You steel yourself against it a little bit. They're not pressing onto you real hard, so there's no like roll to act under pressure or fight it off, but you feel it hitting you. If you want to mention it to Sam, Sam, you don't have any sort of sense of that sort of thing going on. Instead, Sam, you see, is it your mother or your father beckoning you from the Mad Magician's laboratory?
Probably my mother.
Your mother from the laboratory of the Mad Magicians. You see her step halfway into the entrance. She looks at you kind of surprised, and she looks like she's about to speak, and then she just kind of pauses and turns her head to you, and she waves. Kind of a familiar gesture, however she would have welcomed you home from college or something.
That's not real. None of this stuff is real.
Atticus kind of looks where her eyes are going. At first, there's nothing, and then you see kind of like you blink, and there's this woman who looks like Sam if she wasn't all done up in makeup. I guess how much do you take after your mom, Sam?
Quite a bit.
So yeah, it looks like an older, more mature, and less affected Sam standing there. You share the perception that Sam has.
Oh, yeah, I see that too.
Let's just
Keep going to the mirrors.
Yeah.
Okay. Make your way to the laboratory of the maze of mirrors. Let me read this real quick. The mirror maze. So yeah, you go up, like I said, it's two double-wide trailers kind of parked side by side. There's a wooden steps going up to the side, and there's a little pedestal where probably a ticket tape.
Sorry, guys. I'm hearing Odie start to fuss a little bit. I may have to. And Andy just froze.
All right. Go ahead and call it. I'll let him know.
All right.
Later.
I'm not crashing, so if Andy wants to hang out for a few after, I'll be back in a few.
Okay.